Mic check, one, two, three. Mic and music, please, if you will. Hey, perfect. Thank you. Hello, Atlam. Hello, Simone. And hello, Sabka. Welcome back. Uh-oh. Left my lens cap on. Boom. Hey, Rev. How are you, my friend? So welcome back, one and all, to the Dam Challenge. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Today, during the Dam Challenge stream, we will be showcasing various entries. In fact, every entry. 12 entries, by the way. A lot of entries. That were featured, submitted during the Dam Challenge entry window. The current theme was Hellscape, so using that theme as inspiration, 12 different, a dozen members of our community submitted maps following that aesthetic. There were so many great maps, a lot of good ones that I really enjoyed. I, however, was very stunned by this particular map. Yeah, 12 entries is a lot. There was some really... Excuse me, I need some water. There was some very good representation of the theme during this challenge, and I laughed out loud quite a few times at the different maps. But yeah, Geronimo always tends to bring his A games to his maps, and this one was nothing short of absolutely stunning. You know, the color scheme, the effects, the personal touches. Like, look at all these charred skulls around the edge here. The layout, just the map is really, really detailed and beautiful. Yeah, it does kind of feel like Mad Scientist, huh? Hey, Haru. How are you? Welcome back. So, he actually calls it the Gatehouse to Caustic Hell. That's pretty cool, actually. Sorry, I'm going to open it from his map. I think it just was the last map I had open, so it opened as map.dam for some reason. But now you can see the title. But honestly, this thing is a mood, for sure. Let's take a look at it. Beautiful map for top-down play. Could really put your players through, you know, something interesting here. Oh man, that's nice. But yeah, Geronimo is the creator of this map, so if they tune in today, you know, make sure you give them a pat on the back, congratulations. As I always say, we can't all win, but we can all be winners. So let's be positive and support the winner and, you know, send good vibes their way and congratulations. And then, you know, who knows? You may be the next winner. Yeah, he did a great job here. I am been struggling to get the TikTok feed live. I do have Steam feed, so that's good. Okay, I refreshed again. The TikTok feed just worked, so we're good. Sorry about that for anyone who has been chatting. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Geronimo as a cartographer has a leg up on, a lot of new creators because he's been with our community since like beta, since before beta. So he knows a lot of Dungeon Alchemist inside and out. He understands like, all the intricacies. He's a master map maker for sure. Um that being said, um oh no, I don't think he's actually like a real life cartographer. Like making maps. Does anyone make maps anymore? Doesn't it like all automated by satellites and stuff? No, I mean like he's been with our community for, 3+ years and has made lots of maps. He also does a Patreon and or something to that similar. He is very, very crafty with his maps, though. I'm always very, very excited to browse through his builds. Does have a bit of a like a Warhammer vibe to it, doesn't it? It could definitely fit that aesthetic, couldn't it? How you doing, Icebreaker? Necrons, yeah. Oh my. Hey, Polaris, how are you? A necropolis, yeah, it does have that vibe. I mean, this could be all sorts of different settings. In quite a few different, like, let's see here. What's the like not just D&D, but Pathfinder and Warhammer was mentioned. It's kind of got a good cross section of a bunch of different tabletop games. Jerry's basement. So they use the hellscape biome, and as you can see here, there's like fleshy, like skin looking stuff down at the bottom. I love how he just stacked up all these like crystal cells and took advantage of these weird looking prosthetic fingers to make these interesting like protrusions and like decor, if you will. If you look over at the Mateus, the winner is sorry, is Geronimo with this map here. It is a gatehouse to the Caustic Hell. But here you can see more of those like weird prosthetic finger things. They're normally tiny. They're like this. You wouldn't even normally notice them. And now they're like this. And then he attached skulls on the end. They just look like an interesting set piece. That is kind of his thing, is misusing assets for sure. It is a really beautiful map. Let's drop a token or just zoom down in with a cinematic camera. See if we can drop it in. And there's like a door here, right? The entry point. And then you've got this suspended kind of catwalk with like diverted portions you can get off onto, like run to and get cover. But would you want to take cover behind these arcane crystals? Oh my goodness. Everything in here just seems like it's ready to kill you. Burn you. You know, there's acid, fire, things that could explode. Unfortunately, links get automatically removed as a safety precaution because we just don't want to risk someone dropping a link that is malicious and you know what I mean? That being said, if there's something that you wanted to share, like that is like Dungeon Alchemist related, like a map or whatever in a different stream, not a damn challenge stream, I would be more than willing to share it. I'm also, you know, our bot can be pinged to share things from our wiki and stuff like that. So only authorized users can share links effectively. Myself, mods, and our bot. But yeah, this is an interesting build. I like it a lot. Let's jump over there. Whoa, the chains look cool. I think these like little areas are my favorite. It feels like it's an important part of the map. There's like symbols here. Like you got to do something, activate something to open this portal. I don't know. Right, John? It is a good one. I'm going to stop the portal here. By the way, did y'all know with portals you can do several things? With doors and portals you can kind of... So there's like kind of a death portal here, but we could set something else like a swirly or blue, like ice, necrotic, or fire. So you can do all sorts of different things. Yeah, so actually a lot of different things can be turned into portals. Pretty much any archway. There's a few things labeled as portals, of course. And then there's the moon gates. And then pretty much any archway door type can be turned into a portal. They have these like little portal options that you see here. I did see that, yes. Icebreaker, thank you for bringing that up, actually. That's something interesting I'd like to discuss. So, Roll20 just announced that they've increased their file size limits for every you know, whether it's a free account or a pro or a plus account. But like I think with their top tier, they offer up to 100 megabytes now, and they offer animated maps. So basically, what that means is if you have animated maps under the file size, or you have the correct tier and you know it's under 100, or you know if you can squeeze it into a 50 in the like pro or whatever, that means you can have animated Dungeon Alchemist maps on Roll20. Now that's not quite as much as I was hoping for, but it's a good start in the right direction. I remember saying they like a year ago on Twitter, they mentioned something like, hey, we want to get your feedback on how we can improve Roll20 as a whole because we want to make the experience better for everyone. And I just said, you know, as a community manager for Dungeon Alchemist, I would love if my community members could import larger maps or even animated maps with your service. Currently, the you know 20 megabyte limit is somewhat restrictive in the modern era to support animated maps of any kind. And they liked it. They said, hey, we'll look into this. I don't know, you know, did they take it to heart? Maybe. But I'm very happy that they did it. It's great to see. So that's amazing for our Roll20 community. Can finally support animated maps. That's so cool. I'm so happy for you. Nice, cartographer. Nice. Did you do WebM or MP4? So I like one thing about Roll20 is it's just so simplistic. Like Foundry is great because it has so much room to grow all the modules and all the like in-depth aspects of it, but it is so overwhelming for new players and new DMs. So I understand why Roll20 has carved out its niche. Yeah, I mean, you could also run the file through, say, like something that compresses it, you know, or you can lower the bit rate or something and like in any number of things in like a video editor or something. It doesn't always have to be, um, making the map smaller per se, but that is a good approach too, Icebreaker. Okay, yeah, Random Ladybird. Are macros easier to make on Roll20 in your opinion, Random Ladybird? I've only made like 20 macros in Foundry, and most of them were like to roll dice. As a player, I think character sheet management is much better on Foundry than on Roll20. In fact, when I'm on Roll20, I use the Beyond 20 plugin and run my character sheet from D&D Beyond, because I do not like the character sheet interface on Roll20 at all. Like, I despise it. Hoping they update that, make it look cleaner. Man, this is so fun. This map is an absolute treat. I so much appreciate the effort and time that Geronimo put into this one. I wish he was here to bask in the glory, of his efforts, but regardless, he has submitted an amazing map. Jackal, welcome back. How you doing? So, did y'all get a chance to read the Games Radar article that quoted me and... So, Games Radar had an article launch a couple days ago, kind of pertaining to Dungeon Alchemist and Sigil. I had a sit-down interview with the writer of this article and showed her kind of some information about our next update, Fun with Objects. Gave her a small sneak peek behind the curtain, so to speak, and answered questions. And this here is the article in question, but I'm quoted several times throughout the article, and there's some stuff here, that maybe you may not have known about our next update or our upcoming development. So I encourage everyone to check it out. Rev, don't you do like programming and like stuff like that already for a living? Something like that? Like, what exactly do you do for work? Like, in a generalization. Software engineer? Like, are you a developer? Like, what? Because I swear you've talked about you doing support for software or something of that, akin to that. The thing about Foundry is it's like a modder's hacker's paradise. So if you have an affinity for like software development, modding software, or supporting software even, you might like understand Foundry more right out the box. It really is kind of the Linux of VTTs. That's a great assessment there. Hey, see you, Jackal. Thank you for being here. But it at the end of the day, the thing about Foundry is it's so expansive and amazing. Like, I think every single VTT on the market kind of has its own pros and cons. So, like, I'm not too kind of stressed about it. I don't know. We could talk about the differences all day, but I do think that like Foundry is a very strong product. I like it. I enjoy it as a player and a DM. I do, however, understand why some people lean towards, say, Roll20 or Above or Owlbear or any other option on the market, Fantasy Grounds, etc. I think one thing to point out about that article is the very last paragraph of it kind of give some information about our future in development. Seeing as how I don't like, have everyone open up a separate browser and read it if you don't have time, let me just quickly read this to you all, the entire article, okay? Dungeon Alchemist community manager is a little concerned it's behind a paywall to run games in D&D's official Sigil VTT. Here's what the big map making competition has to say about D&D Beyond's new 3D dungeon design software. Dungeons & Dragons just released Sigil to the general public, finally releasing an official map maker and VTT to D&D Beyond. Sadly, its reception has been less than a brilliant one. As a D&D map maker, Sigil is currently caught up in market saturated with fantastic 3D design software, and there are VTTs out there that are far more intuitive and less buggy at present. Since there are loads of other options to pick from, I thought I'd see what the competition had to say about D&D's official new 3D map maker and virtual tabletop. Sigil has a lot to contend with, particularly when it comes to dungeon design. From one of the best. Sorry, I just got way stuck there. My bad. To dungeon design front for one of the best tabletop RPGs. One of the biggest and most comprehensive contenders when it comes to map making is the more system agnostic Dungeon Alchemist software. It's like Sims for dungeon masters. Only you can generate rooms that make sense in 2 clicks and actually make proper rounded rooms with windows, unlike the actual Sims. I'm not sour in parentheses. You may not be able to use it for actual virtual tabletop play, but it's great for visualizing dungeons, whether you're streaming your design or jamming it up on the big screen as you play in person, even if you do have to move everyone's tokens yourself. Speaking to Dungeon Alchemist community manager, Mac, this is where I come into play a little bit, he told us, honestly, if I had to compare us to Sigil, the only thing they have us on is gameplay. We're not really intended for that. I did elaborate beyond this. She just kind of quoted a small section. But I said, despite our community's efforts, or our intended efforts that Dungeon Alchemist is a map maker and immersion tool, many people still use it to play in person, on TV tabletops, projector tabletops, printed maps, and even online through like Discord and Zoom. I've seen many DMs stream games on like Twitch, and they'll actually move the player's tokens through the map for them. So it's case by case for every table. But that being said, Sigil's got a leg up on us for that because it's intended for gameplay, where Dungeon Alchemist is intended for map making. So, moving on. That said, he reckons Dungeon Alchemist is a much stronger map maker. In Sigil's current state, I have to agree. I also think it's a lot easier to use Dungeon Alchemist right out the gate, he says. I don't mean to slam on them, they're brand new. So I kind of pointed out, they're in an alpha state, but we are also in early access. And even from the launch, our launch date, we were much easier to use, like when we hit early access on Steam. So, I've been with Dungeon Alchemist as a community member long before I was the community manager. And I've been following the product a long time, so I've seen kind of its usage there. Now, I did play with Sigil for about a half hour or so, just privately to kind of get a feel for it, and it was okay. And I think it has room to grow, and I hope they listen to community feedback. So moving on, let's see. We don't see Sigil as competition, but more complementary to Dungeon Alchemist. It's an interesting tool. I wish there was more support between the two, but I think they've enclosed their environment. I'm a little concerned how it's behind a paywall to run games, says Mac. A fair assessment considering you need to be signed up to D&D Beyond's $5.99 per month DM tier just to host a game, whereas Dungeon Alchemist operates on a one-time $45 purchase model with continual updates. I'm also concerned for future assets, Max says, noting the 8,000 plus free community assets in Dungeon Alchemist Workshop. Are they going to charge per asset? Like, how is that going to work? As a consumer, that's a big concern for me. There's a lot more coming soon from Dungeon Alchemist's small indie crew in 2025 with their upcoming Fun with Objects update, with their upcoming project Fun with Objects, set to bring decal stickers, upper floors, switching, and actual underground dungeons, as well as the ability to turn any asset into a brush. And that's just scratching the surface. The GIFs I've popped in here are a preview of the update, which has given us a little insight as to what we can expect from Fun with Objects. Max also confirmed, listen in here, this is important, that while it's unlikely Dungeon Alchemist will ever work with its own work in its own built-in, work on its own built-in VTT, there will likely be a standalone Dungeon Alchemist VTT software on the horizon. That's a way off for now, though. Yeah, I did mention all the free maps and stuff too, but I think the big focus was comparing to Sigil, which, you know, it's like a limited asset pool and stuff like that. I understand what the writer was going for there. Yeah, if you want to see the decals, though, I can just show you that video. You know what? I have the video, my man. So... maybe. No, I'll show you real quick. It's actually, so this was in our Steam newsletter. We just put out a massive Steam newsletter because Steam wanted to be more included in the like what's going on behind the scenes, and I agreed. So I tried to put something together for them, and this video was kind of part of that. I plan to post it on our socials this upcoming Tuesday, so everyone can kind of check it out. I was going to spread out all of the kind of videos in that to our social stuff over a couple of weeks. So I apologize if you haven't seen that anywhere else. That being said, I did share a little bit about roofing on our Discord and social media earlier today. So in the decal preview, you can see cracks, scratches, tally marks, webs, all sorts of different things. There's leaves, there's like pock marks from explosions, puddles, all sorts of different stuff. It will be very fun, all the different variety you can use for the decal tool. And remember, it can work on walls, floors, objects, doors, all sorts of stuff. Moving on. Okay, so my man Geronimo kicked butt with this map. It's too bad he's not here to check it out. Sometimes he drops in, he's here the whole stream. Sometimes he's only here for a little bit. Sometimes he doesn't make it. So that's pretty normal for everyone in our community, right? Anyway, moving on. Next map from Lord Rev. Dam Challenge Hellscape. Hell's Entrance. There are many ways to get into one of the countless underworlds. Some are rather pleasant even. You found a way to Hell's front door. Interesting. Cool. Hey, I got credited for the assets. Nice. Okay. So, like, anyone with a D&D Beyond account can access and look at Sigil and, like, play with it, make maps. But to host a session, you need the monthly subscription, right? And then I just don't know how that's going to work past that. Like, assets beyond this point. Like, are they going to launch Sigil for free outside of beta? Will it be a one-time cost? Will it be a monthly cost? Will it be an upfront cost and a monthly cost? Will there be a cost per asset, a cost per asset packs? There's just like not a lot of information. And I'm very interested in the future of the product. But otherwise, I'm just kind of like cautious, you know, because Wizards of the Coast and D&D Beyond have been, let's just say, a little bit... they've let us down a couple of times in the last few years with a few different things. You know? Yeah, there's been a few different drama things in the last few years. This is nice. I like the setup with the dock here. Very cool. Take a walk. Take a little trip. Take a little... Oh, got a big dragon there. Whoa. Hendrix up there, giving a speech. You will all sign the contract! I fell through. I found the one spot. It wasn't working, so don't worry about it. You know me. I'm that guy. How are you, Mondu? I don't know. I think I had some valid concerns and statements regarding the products. Like, I think they're pretty much the concerns of everyone, really. Ooh. Nice view. I like it. This is a nice view. Very nice. Oh, very cool. Like, oh, nice. I get it. This is very awesome, dude. Nice work on this. How long did you put into this map, my friend? Goodness. I love me some lava channels, you know? Canals, if you will. Guy looks angry here. I get it. I understand what you mean. Oh, because, you know, they are much smaller in this world. Very cool, though. Oh my goodness. Can't get mad at me. All night I had a puppy kicking me in the back, keeping me awake. It's not fair. No yawn happening there. Oh my goodness, when you all see Seymour today, you're gonna die. I especially like the, you know, the entrance to hell once you get past all this. Oh my gosh. I also have that a problem when I watch like commercials, like allergy commercials, for instance, when they talk about like all the getting about. Okay. Say hi. Come on. Oh my god. He got a haircut. Big haircut. There you go. Ruru. Everyone thinks you're awesome. No, he likes it. It's starting to get hot here in Vegas soon. Like, it's, it's just a different world here in the desert. Good boy. I know. It's because I got a puppy on me, sitting on my belly. What am I supposed to do in a situation like that? Oh, he's so good. Mrs. Mac holds him on her lap, right? And we have this kind of cool, like, vacuum hair cutting thing. So it has like a trimmer attachment that hooks onto the hose, and it has all these different attachments for that. There's like a couple trimmers, small one, wide one. There's one that's like a brush that just, like, if the hair comes off while you're brushing it, sucks it into the vacuum. So you can, oh, and there's a nail trimmer too. You can essentially, while you're cutting his hair, it just loops up all the hair into the vacuum bin. You have to dump it a couple of times during that, but it works so good. I kind of want one just to cut my own hair because, like, it's so nice to not have to worry about it. I have hardly any hair to begin with. I have, like, my beard and a little bit of hair that grows in, so it'd be nice that when I'm trimming it, it just, like, don't have to deal with sweeping it up, Is this your BB? What is your BB? Want that? Okay. Go with mom. Go get her. Thank you for bringing him. Bye. Anyway. Yeah, like the thing is it's such a nice tool. Like I kind of just thought it was for dogs, but I could totally see using it for, family haircuts. Honestly, I've tried doing it with our cat and he's not very keen on it because the noise it makes. But I could still use the trimmers on him, like just normal. Yeah, the cat is tricky. I think I got to get him used to it, like through a lot of acclimation to it. Like pet him with it. Once he get used to it, turn on the noise. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, our cat. The one time we took him to a groomer's, he like gave the lady a gouge down her arm. Okay. Oh my gosh, there was like almost a lawsuit. It was bad. This is really awesome. I like this map a lot. Oh, I didn't even notice the skull, like, sword thing. That's cool. I didn't, like, realize it was, like, a sword through the skull. That's, like, a solid object, though, huh? That's, like, from the workshop, I imagine. That's really cool. Okay, let's open up the next map, because we got a bunch of maps today, so let's do our best to try and get them all. Gotta show them all. Lots of dams. I saw this one and I laughed out loud at it. The DMV is pretty brutal. It's time to go update my demon license so I can go to the human world to bring torment for the Demon King. I'll get there early to avoid the lines. Honestly, this map made me laugh out loud because the DMV is a soul-sucking experience. The Department of Motor Vehicles in the U.S., if you're not familiar, it may be called something else in your own country. but it's essentially the office where you go to get like your ID or driver's test or driver's license, etc. Um, nice cartographer. I like it. I like it, but I'm worried about Disney because the mouse does not mess around. Oh, who's over here? Putting swear words into my music. I love it. Just all the different tokens lined up. This is great, though. Fantastic. Honestly, like, I kind of figured someone would do a DMV or something bureaucratic, like having to go to a courthouse or, DMV or something along that lines, and you nailed it. Being in a long line to get, some kind of document. There was this one and one other map that kind of encapsulated this feel really well. I love that you use Hendrik as well because, he's got the contract, so why not, right? So, yeah, there's just only the one thing open. All the other desks are closed and cobwebbed, mothballed, if you will. I so I just was recently at the DMV to help my son get an ID because he doesn't like driving yet, but he did want an ID, a personal, an ID for a bunch of different reasons. It helps you with a lot of different things, bank account and different stuff like that. Um, he wants to start getting into crypto and doing trading and stuff, so he also wanted an ID for that. But anyway, moving on. So we had to kind of plan it out, get all of his documents and prove his existence and fill out affidavits of identity and, need his birth certificate and social security card and proof of residence from someone who lives with him at the residence or a piece of mail showing his name on it. So, like, I ended up adding him to the water bill, right? So his name was on a bill. And then we had to wait a month for the water bill to show up. Once the water bill showed up, we used that in adjacent with the affidavit I signed proving he lives with me to prove he exists with the other documents. It was a pain. And then we had an appointment with the DMV that we had to wait like almost 4 weeks for. And we showed up an hour early for the appointment. It was crowded as all at the DMV. The Nevada DMVs are packed all day, every day. And we go in, and my son at the time was kind of stressing a groin injury, so he had a walker to kind of sit on. My wife had one from when she was recovering in the hospital years ago, so we let him use that to make it easier on him. And so it made it easier on him while we were there. We were there for like 3.5, 4 hours, even with an appointment. It was insane. And, we had to go through some lines, double check all the paperwork, pay for things, go through some other lines, wait in a queue, and then finally get his picture taken and then leave. Mruhaha! But basically, if you ever want to look up one of the worst DMVs, look up one of the Las Vegas DMVs. They're awful. People in Las Vegas will drive almost 2 hours away to a more rural DMV, like far away, because it's easier to drive the 2 hours and just walk in, deal with your stuff, and then walk out and drive back, get some lunch, drive back, maybe make a shopping trip out of it or whatever. And then you don't need to wait in line and deal with hundreds of people. It's awful. It's so bad. It's one of the worst. That and our post offices here are just horrendous. I show up at like you show up like an hour early to the post office, there's already a line of like 100 people out the door. Like ready to go. And most of them have carts with packages. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, we had to wait, I think, between 1 and 2 months for the appointment, you know? And then once we were there, it was like, even with an appointment, almost 4 or 5 hours. I could not believe it. Dyson knows, though. She just was recently moved from Vegas to Washington, isn't it? Right? Or Seattle-ish, right? Something like that. This is great. I love it. You really encapsulated the absolute despair that is the DMV. um, I could have even done with a zigzagged queue with like some stanchions going back and forth to really draw it out, not just the single, like, you know what I mean? Like, you could have really made it hellish. So when I grew up in Utah, like they have a tiny DMV, and when you go there, you're there less than an hour. It's like it services like a whole region of Utah, like for like 100 miles in every direction, and it's so slow. Like it's like never anyone there. You could go in on a weekday and just like own on if you have schedule a day off or make sure you go. It's like no one's there. I have, ever since I've gotten my license in Nevada, I luckily have just renewed online, and my registration in Nevada, I renew online. I'll basically go to, like, they do smog checks in Nevada. They don't do inspections, but they do smog checks. So they don't inspect your tires and your windows or brakes or anything. No, but they do check your smog. So they check your smog, and once your smog's checked, you pay someone for that, right? And then you have to either pay them to register your car, or now that your smog check's in the system, you can register your car at home, like at your own convenience. I love this build. You did a great job, Simone. Thank you so much for sharing it. Let's move on to the next one, though, unfortunately. Bearsoft! Thank you for making me feel utter despair and laughter. Honestly, you captured it perfectly. And the first time I saw the map, I was laughing out loud. There's some smog places where by kind of where I live that are just like drive in and really quick. One of them is like dead all the time. I like kind of pinpointed it, and I was like, okay, this is my smog place, and it's so easy to deal with. Like, it's been great for me. Um, but that being said, I get it. There is so much pain here. The last time I got my smog checked, I had just gotten a new battery the week before, and I didn't realize when you get a new battery, you have to like run so many miles on the computer before the smog computer, like, or all the sensors work correctly. So my smog check came back negative, saying all my sensors were bad, and I was like, no. And he's like, did you just recently get your car serviced? I was like, yeah, I got a new battery. He's like, oh, that's what it is. I'm like, okay. And he's like, come back in a couple of weeks when you've driven a few miles and we'll check it. It was, oh my goodness. It's like, I'm glad they do the smog checks, don't get me wrong, but it also is infuriating. I really loved the one-way hellscape, the one-way hellscape, sorry, what do they call them? I can't even remember the name of this stuff now. Skybox. Having a little bit of a rough morning. Might need a coffee. Another coffee. But this right here is what got me. This map really feels like something from, I don't know, Gauntlet or Diablo. There's like a portal, entry point, walkways, catwalks, bridges, different paths to go. Yeah, it is a great build. Definitely has that classic hell feel. People caged up, potential treasures that might be temptations, people being tortured. Yeah, it does have that. I feel like there's a hell kind of area in Gauntlet Legends as well that kind of has this vibe. Oh, combat on this map would be insane. Let's get the grid on it, because yeah, it's pretty big actually if you think about it. 50 by 50, and if you scaled your grid in your virtual tabletop, you can make this 100 by 100. The DM I play with, GM Eric, I think he makes them 2.5 feet instead of 5 feet, and so every box is like it's double the boxes. Yeah, lots of gaps where there'll be checks, you know. But yeah, I think this one's really well set up for encounters and interactions. Credit to Bearsoft on that. Great use of the shields, the rotating orbs. Is that what it is? Oh, I thought that was the for some reason thought it was one of the, what is it? These. Force sphere. I personally love 10-foot wide walkways and 10-foot gaps because you don't get players bunched up, right? I don't like single file instances. You have a few of them, but they're spread out. You give your players room to kind of spread out across these areas and really be in formations instead of just like a single file line. So kudos to that. Lots of 10-foot gaps between all of these, like, you know, different outcroppings of rocks. So if they decide to jump, it's going to be kind of dangerous, like, you know, pretty dangerous, unless they've got flight or, you know, a ring of jumping or some kind of jumping spell or whatever. Ultimately, though, the environment is well designed, my friend. Kudos to you. How long did you spend on this map? Escape to hell. The Hellening. Let's read this. The party must traverse a brutal, ever-shifting hellscape, not to escape from it, but to escape into it. Somewhere beyond the carnage lies the gateway that must be sealed, hidden, or guarded by something ancient and wrathful. Why do they seek this cursed path? Whatever the reason, the only way forward is down. Awesome. I believe there's a saving throw depending on how long you're in the lava, depending on your system. And also if they have fire, resistance, or immunity, of course. I love this right here. This is so cool. The cut off lava at the edge. Like, thing about lava is you're not like, it's more viscous, you know, it's not like immediately liquid. I guess it depends on the lava. It may take a second or two to sink in it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, you really would only want to do like a plus 10 party, or 10 plus level party here, you know what I mean? Because the damage included unless you scale down. Yeah, if you scale at all, of course. I don't know. I've even seen those videos of where they drop something from like hundreds of feet up into the lava, and it doesn't necessarily sink like right away. Always, sometimes it's like oof, and sometimes it's like boom, boom. It's like right through the layer at the top, depending on how thin the crust layer. I mean, this isn't very thick, so the darker areas I'd imagine are thicker than say the orange areas. But yeah, this map is stunningly well done. Beautiful map. Yeah, true, it is Hollywood. I don't know. I'm more not Hollywood so much of like when you see like scientists experimenting and messing around with volcanoes and magma flow and stuff like that. I think it's well done. Is this backdrop the skybox on the workshop? Pretty sure it is. Just wanted to confirm. Look at that. Further down. Harry, you're looking at Dungeon Alchemist. It's a map-making tool available on Steam. We offer a free demo, so you can kind of try it out, but it is kind of a small slice of the overall pie in the demo. You can check out the forest biome and make a tavern in it. Right now, we're in the Hellscape biome, which offers lava, charred earth and bones and like all sorts of kind of, let's just say, things that are not necessarily family friendly at a glance all the time. This map is quite awesome. It was made by Bearsoft. We're actually showcasing maps from a contest we host every 2 weeks on our streams called the Dam Challenge. So when you save maps in Dungeon Alchemist, they're saved as our proprietary map format, DAM, Dungeon Alchemist map. So we host contests to that, that theme, Dam Challenge. So the last pit theme was Hellscape. We gave our community 2 weeks to make maps using Hellscape as inspiration, and we had a lot of amazing entries. So we're about halfway through the entries. If you want to tune in and, Perry, tune in, watch, ask questions during the stream. The stream's AMA format, so you can ask me anything related to Dungeon Alchemist. I'll do my best to guide you. My moderators and other viewers also may chime in and offer assistance. They're all very, very, very talented. But during these streams, us showcasing these maps, a lot of these maps, the players our community is bringing their A game for the competition, because there's a $10 Hero Forge gift card on the line, some bragging rights, a place to showcase your map in our community newsletter. So a lot of people end up checking out their map and downloading it. Oh, cool. So you remember the Dam of the Day and stuff. Cool. We haven't done Dam of the Day for a while because it was starting to get mentally exhausting for me. Just doing one every single day like a video, but yeah, we do quite a bit of other showcases of maps. We have the Dam stream, the Dam Challenge, Mapmaker Monday, and Office Hours streams, several streams. And then we showcase maps and assets and upcoming teasers and stuff on our social media. But welcome back, Perry, to the community. Well, I think I just started getting burnt out. Before my vacation, I was doing a Dam of the Day almost every day, or every 3 or 4 a week or more. And lots of video, lots of editing, lots of voiceover. It just becomes very tedious, to the point where I was having less time to focus on the streams and community support and other things the devs wanted me to focus on. So I kind of cut back on that until I feel like it's better to do so. So in this map, the elevation is done through the terrain tool. You have this tab here where you can raise terrain, lower terrain, flatten terrain. You also can paint the terrain with different, things. So there's the bones, there's the rocks, stuff like that. That's the lava liquid type. So we could change this lava to ice if we wanted to, or back to lava, whatever. A lot of terrain manipulation was done here. The objects, like the staircases and stuff, they disabled collisions. When you disable collisions, this little arrow appears on the side of your objects. You can raise and lower them. and they just kind of got it to the right height and slid it into place. Oh, no worries. No, the Dam of the Days, I think we'll kind of get back to some kind of feature. But right now, we have the Dam Challenge, which ends up being quite a bunch of maps that are featured. We have, several streams and then also teasers. So we're showcasing tons of content each week. In fact, I'm not actually worried about burnout anymore. I had a vacation. I have another one planned in the next month or two before we push into the update. I'm going to go see my grandfather, visit him for, a few days. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. He's getting up there in age, and I just kind of want to hang out with him, help out with some stuff around the house, and just get some, some time with him. But anyway, moving on with that, I have some upcoming content to kind of expand our kind of stream schedule that I'm hoping to do. One of which is a stream slot in a nighttime stream for me. So it would be kind of starting around midnight my time and go to about 2 a.m. my time, which would be about 8 a.m. UTC. So, extrapolate from there, 3 a.m., it starts at 3 a.m. EST or 8 a.m. UTC. So it would give our community members across the pond a better opportunity to watch during what would be considered daytime for them instead of an evening or nighttime slot for them. Oh, no, we prioritize family and making sure our, the dev team, the artist team, they all, work to, their ability, but also don't burn themselves out or push themselves beyond what they're able to. Everyone gets time off, like Wim, one of our lead artist, actually, and the creator of Dungeon Alchemist. He had the last week off. And then this couple weeks from now, the devs are going to the Game Developer Conference in California. But honestly, we're very, very not pushy when it comes to development because we don't want to have burnout. We're a small team. We can't afford to have burnout, right? So, if someone needs time off, they get it. If someone is feeling too stressed or overworked, someone will lean in and help. Like sometimes I'm doing too much and I'll ask Wim to help out and he'll post for me for a few days. Yeah, it's coming up soon. I think it's in the next week or so. Volkari. I think the 17th through the 20th or something like that. Yeah, so we try not to, hit burnout. We find a good balance between, work and family and, hobbies and, all that stuff. I don't think so. I think they're just attending. Just hanging out, vibing. We're going to open up Cartographer's map. Cartographer, you still here? I know you were here earlier. This map is brutal. Brutal. So, Cartographer has a skill for really blending light. As you can see here. Lots of different colors throughout the map, which blend very well to give kind of a tableau of tones across the entire map. Instead of like a splash, it's just very it's a slow transition of color, right? I really, really enjoy his usage of lighting on this map. And then if you get down to the center here, the whole area is just piles of bones and a staircase leading into the pit. The garden. What is the garden's fertilizer, I wonder? Let's take a look at the top down on this, though. Very beautiful map. Very cool, Cartographer. How's your Patreon doing nowadays, my friend? So, Perry, you use a TV tabletop to play in person. Do you use DA as your virtual tabletop and just live maps with like a grid on or something like that? It's because you can turn on the grid, right? And then disable the user interface. And then just go into like a top-down. But it looks like you also did that tone color shifting with the plants too, this Fey bush. bay plant. Each of them has like a slightly different color hue. You went through and picked something different. Very, very eye-catching. Indeed. I will say this, Perry, while you're playing in person, you have a few options. Obviously, you can cover your TV with, say, like a dark sheet for like an in-person fog of war, like a physical solution. I've seen DMs that actually made like rooftops and stuff out of construction paper. So they'll take like a brown piece of construction paper and draw some shingles on it, like a roof, and they put that on top of the houses and stuff in their maps. So if their players enter them, they'll peel that back. Um, that's another suggestion. One other thing you can do, there's a couple things you can do right within Dungeon Alchemist. So if you open the object panel, we have these objects called abstracts. And they're kind of just blank slates, these green images. I'm going to disable collisions so I have far more control over it. When collisions are off, you can raise it up and down, but you can also resize it far above its normal constraints. Let's say I wanted to fog of war this center area right when the players came in. Maybe there's darkness over it. Or I could do the whole room if I wanted to. But I could just raise this up till it's above that point, right? And then go into the color panel here and set it to black. Alternatively, you can insert an image. I have like just one on standby that I keep that is just solid black, so it's even more dark. But you could do this over the entire map, really, if you wanted to. And then it's all, sealed, but you could do this in portions with smaller squares. So it's just little, corners of areas or rooms or whatever. That is kind of a manual solution, but it works rather well. I like to switch from the panel black to an image black, because sometimes if it's like a pit like this, right? You put something like this in there. You can use this image the other way and make it look like it's like very deep, right? But I'd rather it, instead of the gray, that you can kind of clearly see the gray, if we insert a solid black, then it feels so much more deep and like infinite. Does that make sense? Honestly, I like offering solutions instead of telling people no, it's not possible. So while we don't offer like a direct fog of war solution, maybe someday in the future we will, we plan to address the VTT issue at some point. Yeah, we also have an effect that's black smoke you can use, but it is incredibly burdensome on your CPU and your GPU. It's like a big burden. So a lot of people tend to use the abstract images because they're a lot less weight on your computer. And then remember, another thing to consider, Perry, you can also pair Dungeon Alchemist with a virtual tabletop like Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Foundry, Above VTT, Owlbear, etc., just to name a few. And our maps, seamlessly export and import to those systems and include, lighting information, walls, windows, doors, line of sight information, stuff like that. So essentially, you can get Fog of War by using the virtual tabletop software, which gives you more tools as a DM. I mean, you can facilitate dice rolling, extra tokens and NPCs, characters management, sheet management, and inventory management, effects, and the like. You don't have to take advantage of all those things, but you can. Hey, Squirrel, what's the specs? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Okay, so cartographer, tell me, how long did it take you to make this map, my friend? You got the little blood fountains in the corner here, of course. Terrifying, but also awesome. Because you're already running Dungeon Alchemist from a computer to your TV. you pair Dungeon Alchemist maps with a piece of software that's meant to run gameplay. So you export our maps, then you turn off Dungeon Alchemist, put the map into the virtual tabletop, and run it like that. It's very fun. 6 hours, give or take? Not bad. Not bad. Honestly, it's very, very beautiful, Cartographer. Fantastic work. I know. I'm just saying when you go to run the game, you don't want to have DA running because it takes a lot of like processing power, RAM and CPU, GPU, all that stuff to run DA. So if you're running your virtual tabletop and DA at the same time, you might run into problems depending on your computer specs. Yeah, there are stairs into the pit. Oh man, you put those in by hand? My man, you are something else. I fell into the pit. We all went down in the pit. Ah! No! Shiny. Let's be bad guys. Welcome, Broken King. How are you? Moon. Yeah, I really enjoy the first person view. I mean, you could stream this to your players, Perry, or anyone really can, you know. Stream it over Discord or Zoom and they can watch, you know, the first person view. You can follow along what they're doing in top down. So this is something that is also fun too with maps. Maybe your players are like, "Hey, can you take a closer look at, you know, this arrangement of flowers here in first person for us?" So you could drop in first person and take a look, and really allows them to see the map through their own eyes. It's a great interaction tool. Oh, I remember, Mondu. I remember. It was a dark time. Okay. Sadly, we must move on. We must adjourn to the map folder. So, thank you so much, Cartographer, for this beautiful map. Appreciate your effort. Thank you for sharing it. And you said it's available for free on your Patreon. So, yeah, people should check it out. You posted it in Community Creations? Awesome. Thank you for doing so. It's also technically on the workshop, right? Yes, the still map. Gotcha. How you doing today, Dag? What's new with you? What's got you grumpy today, my friend? Holy cow, there's some layers to this. Down, down the goblin, down. Holy cow. Okay. You know, you didn't have to jump into the stream if you hate me so bad. Milo, really? Oh no, what happened to the computer? I feel you, Dag. I feel you. I actually really don't do much shopping like in stores anymore. Changed my life. What are these guys doing? They're terrifying, that's all I know. For groceries, I do curbside pickup, so I just sit at home with my phone or at my computer, and I'll like walk around and figure out everything I need to order. I can scan barcodes with my phone and it adds it right into my list. Or I have like things saved from previous orders and could just add them to my list. And then I have a running total of how much it's going to cost with tax, so that's always nice. Um, anyway, I put together my whole order it, set a time for pickup. The people at the store put together my order. If anything's missing, you can set like backups, like substitutes. And then they let you know if something was missing and you can approve the substitutes. That's like very hands-on. And then lastly, you just go pick it up at the time slot you chose, which they give you an hour to pick it up. But even if you're late, you can pick it up till the end of the day. So it's kind of nice. Because like one time I had something kind of get in the way. I had an errand I had to take care of. There was an emergency, and they were like, "Oh, you can come and pick it up way later." Had it 2 months out of 12, Milo? Dang, that sounds like a lemon, bro. I would be insisting upon a lemon swap. These demons are evil looking, all I gotta say. Not a fan of what they're doing. This map is quite intricate. Very well done, I gotta say. Putting all these stairs in by hand to the stones would be not easy to do, right? It's a whole lot of work. Then on top of that, this entire structure, some like intricate stonework, things stacked on top of each other. They basically Theseus, ship of Theseus, your PC of Theseus. If you buy a car and replace every part in the car, is it still the same car? Hey Tatsuya, how you doing? Welcome. This is oddly terrifying. This is the most unsettling thing I've ever seen in a map, actually. This is less unsettling. There's people hanging up over here than this. These guys dancing in the center. In their jumpsuits. Oh my goodness. I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. And so you release the soul of the car with the key, but then when you pull it back out, it's drawn back into it, kind of like an iron flask or something. The rules are simple. There are 4 infernal towers to dive in. Choose well, because in the towers there are demons who would trap and reap your soul. If you bump into one of them, it's over. But if you were lucky enough, you will leave this place finding a teleport platform right image. Well, that's nice of them to give us an image. Not much time. If you stay idle here, you would dance into the hell forever. If you chose the wrong tower, your soul will be doomed. And if the pressure is too much, you can always turn back. Jump the hoop and dive into the lava and take the easy way out. Are you ready to take this leap of faith? Everyone's using Hendrik with the contract. It's just a philosophical question. It's been around since, like, ancient Greece, right? They asked. You repair every plank, every nail. On the ship, is it a different ship? They were talking about the ship of Theseus. Okay? So, to them, the analog or the current, the equivalent would have been a ship. I'm quite sure I mentioned Ship of Theseus at the beginning of this, you nerds. But I just think it's funny that we're talking about that. Fair enough, Jackal. Making me sound like Wolverine or something. So I'm cool with it. Jackal says, like, our cells are constantly replaced, but everyone is still the same person. Because the mind is still the same. I was more vibing with the cells are all replaced part, so. We have another sci-fi map from Zentik, aka Tin Man. He has been just really capitalizing on a few assets to make some amazing sci-fi themed maps. Because you can essentially plop sci-fi maps into these kind of hellish environments, and they fit really well because a lot of times planets aren't fully tamed. You know, you have the Mustafar type, like lava planets, or big forest planets, or, you know, planets that just seem devoid of any atmosphere. Really easy to do, and you can simply change the light filters more often than not to get a different effect. Like now it feels more like a moon, you know, or an asteroid. Now it feels just like, oh my goodness, awful, first off. So, does anyone have any games scheduled for this weekend, or are you doing any session prep? If you have a game planned, or if you already played this weekend, let's hear about it. If you have some session prep, let's hear about that. So, Perry, if you want to submit a map to the Dam Challenge, unfortunately, it's too late for this challenge. However, before the end of the stream, we are going to be picking a new theme, and we're going to be giving our community roughly 2 weeks to submit their entries. One moment. So we have a Discord, and the Discord is where you would submit your entry. One moment. I'm going to get you the links, my friend. Anyway, there's that, and then I'm going to grab one more link for you. Board Game Club, man, I am jealous. Also got a wiki link for you, my friend, that should kind of guide you along the Dam Challenge information. So basically, before the end of the stream, Perry, we will be grabbing a... oh, thank you, Atlam. Thank you so much. Grabbing a theme, a new theme as a group, picking one out, and essentially that will be the inspiration for the upcoming challenge. Great day today, Board Game Club, and then I ran Drawn in the Margins game that is near to finishing. Nice, nice. Isn't Drawn in the Margins where it's like the small society that's like hidden in the like the little edges of the books? You told me about this before, I feel like. Just kind of briefly on stream at least. This is cool right here, Steel Watchers. Let's see, doing a one-shot sometime at the end of the week. Nice, Broken King. Any details you care to share? Or is it hush-hush? Primal Edge Design says, I have a session coming up on Wednesday when my players are taking the ship to a new continent. Wow, very cool. That's so cool. I'm assuming you have an encounter on the open ocean for them? see what else we got here. No game this week from Rev. Game on Tuesday, and then later in the month on the DM podcast a friend is hosting. Nice, Rev. That sounds fun. Jackal animatronic. Replacing physical components doesn't necessarily equate to removing symbolic. You're still on that, aren't you, Jackal? I agree with you. Let's just say I agree to disagree. Honestly, I was more or less just joking at the time. But, and I brought up the point behind it just so those who weren't aware. But I know it can become a very deep philosophical discussion with many different points on both ends. I often wonder, as we become very good at like bioengineering and biomechanics and stuff like that, and we're making prosthetics that are really cool and nanite technology, like when we start replacing human body parts and stuff, if this discussion might be slightly altered, mainly because it's a human, not necessarily a machine or a tool, But that's a conversation for another day. Tracking down the monster creatures that have escaped from the manuscript margins. That is so cool, Random Ladybird. That's an interesting concept. Sounds fun. So I am lucky. I get to play tomorrow. Tomorrow! Yeah, in like almost 24 hours, basically. Tomorrow! I'm gaming tomorrow! No worries. I run long sometimes, Watchtower. Especially when we have 12 maps. I didn't think I'd hit it exactly. But we could start picking a theme, which would be a good idea. This is so cool. Is there like anything inside, or is this just a shell? Pull off the door, shall we? Let's let ourselves inside. I am up for suggestions for themes. I prefer them to be 1 to 2 words that invoke a lot of thought and, emotion. I like that, 1 or 2 words can be interpreted a lot of different ways, not necessarily a very fine, restricted theme. So if possible, I prefer themes that are kind of more open-ended. Excuse me. A happy theme. So Hellscape was our current theme, right? The most recent theme. The one before that was Crossroads. The one before that, I believe, was Frozen. I think before that was Festival. We've been kind of going back. Oh, Desert was one. Yeah, I missed Desert. Sorry. It was Desert and then Frozen. Broken King, I'm kind of reading. It's kind of a lot to read out loud, but I'm following along, and that is very cool. That's an interesting story hook you got for them. Are you hoping this one shot evolves into something more? Opposite of Hellscape, Heavenly. Interesting concept, Mondu. It is cheerful and lighthearted. Vacation also is good, and it can be interpreted a lot of ways. Paradise is a little bit broader than Vacation, but also encapsulates Vacation to a degree. Gumdrop buttons? No, not the gumdrop buttons! The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! Paradise. Ooh. Someone could really go with that. I mean, shouldn't be giving away your hand. Yoink. Moving on. This one's by Moose. I would like to meet this moose. You would think, because I live in Vegas, that I love gambling or go to the casinos all the time. No. Nope. I wouldn't be able to live, be able to afford to live. I don't have good luck. I'm not a good gambler. Very well done. Oh, this is that same Hellscape map. It's just brighter and easier to see, like the backdrop. That's cool. Paradise is a good one. It's more open than Vacation. Vacation's kind of a tighter theme. Paradise could be Vacation. It could be just a beautiful location. It is more lighthearted than Hellscape, which is a kind of a request early on. Additionally, I think it gives our community more room to kind of interpret the theme the way they want. I'm up for Paradise if anyone else is interested. And I'm going to take a moment to shout out some people who have followed and liked the stream in the last hour or so. So Ice Dern followed about 7 minutes ago here on Twitch. Thank you so much. Ariel Antonio Rosenberger subscribed on YouTube. Thomas Broadfoot, hit that like button over on Facebook. 3373 followed us about an hour ago on Twitch. And John Mack, I think that's Bearsoft. Is that Bearsoft? Just want to make sure. I don't know. Gave us a like over on the Facebook. The Facebooks, as my grandma would call it. You could make a fairy playground or fayground. The thing is Paradise is the word you use as inspiration for your map, and it can just be kind of a loose interpretation for the rest of the build. I just remember your name because the Mac part. Like, we're Macs. We're both, there's two Macs on the stream. Last supply stop for 2 dimensions. Stock up now. Ashen Cloak, fireproof clothing. Stop, this is your last chance to purchase supplies. The Pact Maker's Parchment, Hellspring Apothecary, Stygian Surveys, Maps of Hell. Welcome to hell. Welcome to the Hellspring Market. I love this. It's very creative, first off, and then each of the stores were very unique, kind of had their own feel and style. The Devil's Bargain, wards and protective charms. Watchtower. You know, every time in Back to the Future when they say save the Watchtower, I just think of you making fun of me in the stream and how I shouldn't save the Watchtower anymore. I know you do. I'm just teasing. And that's why it's fun. We're ribbing each other. No, you're not making fun of me. You're cribbing me, not ribbing me, right? I really like the signage in this map. Really well done. Little wanted signs so people can maybe pick up a quest. Balin Shadowfang may even be part of the party. Starvation rations, last supply stop for 2 dimensions. They really like to point that out. I do like when gas stations let you know it's like the last gas station for hundreds of miles because, oh my, if you don't, like, get gas, it can be dangerous in some of those places. Yeah, the signs are really, really well done. What's this one say? Infernal Justice and Associates contracts in, I can't read that part. Anyway, negotiated pact reviewed will help you renegotiate. Call 666 pact help. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's a little too many letters, but or you know what? When we were kids, they would do that too because the last number doesn't count. It just is a runoff one, so they would use it for the branding. So it's technically PACTHEL, but the P letter, if you type it, just doesn't count as part of the dialing. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't affect the dial. That's old school for you right there. Man, I used to call into the radio station and they had something like that. It was like 95 sunny and it was like 2 extra numbers, but it would still work. Totally not packed hell, right? Also good. This is brilliantly done. Here, let's read this. Last supply stop for 11 dimensions, not 2. Hellspring Market, catering to all your transdimensional hellish needs, created for the Damn Challenge theme of Hellscape. Very nice. Moving on to Watchtower's map, which feels like an IKEA a little bit. Kafka-esque nightmare, a dystopian bureaucratic hellscape where order, compliance, and endless red tape suffocate all who enter. The environment is bleak, oppressive, and riddled with authoritarian propaganda. This massive, monotonous office complex is filled with identical desks, labyrinthian hallways, and an overwhelming sense of futility. Oh, goodness. So, kind of a DMV, but seems like there's much more to it. As it seems to keep going and going as a boondoggle of reading designed to take more time. Not to mention all of these random hallways. I love it. So it's essentially just like a government office or, you know, something like the central bureaucracy in Futurama, where, you know, it's essentially just a boondoggle of forms and different people you have to speak to and can't speak to and need to get things stamped and approved, wait in lines, and yeah, I see it. You put a lot of time into this, my friend. How long were you working on this one? Oh my gosh. It's insane. Particularly the hallways. And almost the couch. Oh my gosh. You can't get mad at him for having his creative wellspring opening up and he has all these awesome maps popping up, right? This seems like basically a government building and an IKEA had a baby. Doors open to nowhere. I love this. Arrows on the floors going different directions. You get to the end of one hallway, it just points you back. The doors opening to just brick walls is really funny. I didn't notice that on my first pass. Proving purpose. Idle souls will be reassigned. No exceptions. Remember, you can leave anytime. Exit forms available upon request must be notarized by 3 infernal supervisors. Processing time varies. No guarantees. You can leave anytime, but you can't. Department of Loyalty and Constructive Concerns. Oh my goodness. It's got a bit of a dark. The authoritarian, for sure, theme is a little dark, my friend, but you definitely... Yeah, you nailed it on the head. Codec. Compliance, obedience, diligence, efficiency, conformity. Failure to meet expectations will result in corrective processing. All the clocks just ticking would be so obnoxious. A room full of people just stamping and looking at paperwork, papers fluttering everywhere, books, and oh my gosh, could you imagine all of the clocks ticking? It's too real. It's too real. Watch out. Just kidding. Oh my goodness. Every desk has a timepiece or two. Oh my gosh, I didn't notice that either. Clock, 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 clock. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm sitting on a time bomb, baby. Just hearing lots of clocks going. You know what would be funny? Just another suggestion, because you did the bricks. What if there are desks to go talk to people, but they're actually bricked off when you open them? So, like, the door opens up, but it's also bricked off. So there's really no way to even get to them. Like, even more bureaucracy and just wasting people's time. Oh my goodness. Is this the mailroom? Where's the Pepe Silvia wall? In the mailroom would be the one place they could probably have like a little bit of resistance and hide things because it's such a mess. So tucked behind things could be like a crazy yarn wall, them trying to decipher what's going on. Pepe Silvia wall. This is brilliant though. Such like organized chaos. This contract with the fold out piece. Oh my gosh, folds off the table, down below the table. Insane. Extra folded out addendum. Lovely. Fantastic work, my friend. Definitely encapsulated the feeling of working in hell. Quite a build. I should run through the hallway. I think I'll get lost. But I'll do it just for you. Should I alligator crawl through the hallway? Crocodile crawl? Can't keep me. No! 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 Oh, there is an exit sign at least. Oh, exit's going this way. So you did have some arrows, just at this perspective. You were waiting for me to see them, weren't you? This whole time. You're like, Mac, you'll see it sooner than later. Or yeah, like a big corporate headquarter office. Or like a corporate park, right? With just tons of hallways and places going nowhere and shenanigans. Oh, also, like suburbia a little bit. Like just winding streets with endless matching like themes that you're not 100% certain if you went that way already. Oh, I'll make it back someday. It's all the same though. Duplicating. Fantastic. Yeah. So I don't understand how IKEA is like legal. Because, like, it's a fire hazard. Like, there's not easy ways to get out everywhere. Duplicate. Funny. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. You got me. Not as easy to get to as they should be. Yeah, I don't know how to get into the center. Oh, I found, nope. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna have to cheat. Look at. Yeah, Hendrik, you didn't see this. No! Pfft, missed the jump. But yeah, they're disconnected. There really is. Oh, you just jump off there and you can run into it. That's the only way, huh? Funny. So when I was there, that was really the only way back into the center. Too funny. I'm a gator. I can fly. I believe I can wait in line. I have a nightmare almost every day where I'm waiting all day. Yep, exactly. Very cool. Fantastically well done, Watchtower. As always, great work, my friend. Whew, we got 3 maps left. We've got at least 10 minutes on the clock. We probably will run 15, 20 minutes long, so we will probably go till about 2:15, maybe 2:20 today, just to make sure we get every map, get a wrap up. Oh! So I think our next theme will be Paradise, okay? We did pick Paradise, I think, talking about it earlier. Or at least that's kind of where I was leaning. Let me change it up. Oops. And you could take that and make it, you know, whatever you want. Have fun with that. Okay, so this one is Chim. Got it. Chim has been doing these really interesting structures lately. I love that there's like a whole like library tucked into these shelves here. Like little libraries all throughout that you can float to and check out. Let's read the description so I have a little bit more background. Oh, map made for Dam Challenge. So why don't you tell us what your inspiration is, Jim, if you're still here by chance? Jim was here earlier. I don't know if they're still here. Oh, they are here. Hopefully, they're lurking, but oh my, very smart use of images to make it seem like it just goes down and down and down and down. Very cool. That's an abstract right there. Very clever. Physical 320s or 3D 20s, 3 of them in a row. That's impressive. Or was that on Roll20? Oh my, that's crazy. Yeah, you have good luck, so let's make the game harder on you instead of rewarding you for enjoying and letting you enjoy your good luck. This is about loss of the library. Sad, Chim. Loss of knowledge is always sad, but it looks like some people are still caretaking some of it. A little bit of it, you know? Necromancer is raiding? No, it's always a necromancer stealing your books and using your loved one's bones for his army. I like the centerpiece. That's my favorite part right here. Oh, nice. So if you put in muddy water, it'll flood the whole thing? Anywhere on a low part? Whoa. Very cool. Probably even throw in some golden water. You can see the ground underneath, the ripples of it. Really like how it gives the outlines of the structure sometimes. It's a good map, man. Lots of territory to walk around and check out, especially if it's not flooded yet, and then there could be an event that floods it, right? Hag's Lair, yeah. Say what, Jackal? Very cool, Jim. I appreciate that. And remember, if you load it with water, we do have the water like sponge now, so you can always soak up the water. It's not as bad anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of terrain manipulation in here, no joke. That is a great point. Like, it looks like you put a lot of time and effort into getting these little outcroppings just right, the spider webbing of the canyons, these little areas you tucked in the little nooks and crannies of books. It's just really well done. Really well done. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to play D&D tomorrow. So my party is just got escorted across town, kind of secretively, in disguise and whatnot, to a contact who can help us, lay low, most likely, and help us get information on the person who wronged us and got us thrown in jail, and essentially help us get revenge, because they also apparently dislike this person or have a grudge against them. So, hey, see you later, Watchtower. See you, Simone. Thank you for being here. Glad you got to see your map. Sorry it took a while. Appreciate your ingenuity. You guys both really nailed that bureaucratic hellscape for sure. That one, you guys had the cornered the market on that for sure. Thank you so much again for your contributions. We'll see you later. Chim, How long did you put on into this map? Just curious. What are those? Dreamland's critter? Ugh, they're gross. Let's just say that. I like how they're nesting over here. Very clever. Great use of the terrain. Wonderful map. 10 hours? Not bad, actually. You killed it. The centerpiece is really interesting, too. I really love the centerpiece the most. It almost looks like a sun. Like a circle with the points coming off of it. Is that what you were going for there? Won't you come and wash away the rain? Yep. Your mom made this map? Wait, is your mom Chim, Jackal? I'm confused. We got a lot of family viewers, it seems like, in here right now. It's hard to keep track. Chim, do you claim Jackal? There's gators in these waters. I'm looking. Oh, I see one. Boom. Indeed. Let's see what it's like under the sea. Under the sea. Okay. Really gotta stop singing Disney songs. Stuck. No! You would think I'd be better at swimming. Always listening. Through, not even joking though, there. Through the copyright safety filters on many different websites, they pick up all sorts of music and tones and all sorts of stuff. So, very easy for them to do. On Twitch, they will suspend accounts and freeze them all the time. But it's usually for using the actual music, not just singing it for a second. So, you know. And the music I play is actually 100% copyright safe. The creator of it makes it for streamers. Very cool. How many different gators are on the map? Oh, there's another one. Oh man, there's a bunch over here. Dang, like a whole crew. They're chilling out. Gator City here. Don't want to swim there. I didn't notice all those. They are very well hidden. Very cool. Well, happy birthday. Hey, see you later, Highland Lash. Your map is coming up. No! Do you have a minute? We'll do yours really quick. I feel so bad. Here, let me hurry and throw hers up so she can see her map on stream, okay? Gonna jump ahead. This one was so impressively clever. Not only like the lighting and the mood of the whole map, but the railway was so impressively well done. And it reminded me of like a Scarefest ride or something during like Halloween season at like a, you know, at any of those places like Lagoon or Six Flags or Knott's Berry Farm or, you know, Disneyland, any of those places. But holy cow, you really knocked it out of the park with this. So if you get in the overhead, the railway system is very intricate. It has some fun dead ends. It has weird turns, teleporting stations, whips and turns, ups and downs, lefts and rights. It's so fun. I think Highland Lass was incredibly creative with this design. There's tracks going through rocks. There's tracks going through portals. Tracks, you know, areas that are covered. You did have fun with it, I can tell. shined through for sure. I really liked the like apparent dead ends too, like this one. Got to scare your players a little bit. It's really too bad we can't mount a cart to this and let it just go on its own and just follow the tracks indefinitely. Yeah, I know. It'd be so cool to have something follow the tracks, right? It would be. Maybe in the future, who knows? You know, never say never. Our devs are incredibly clever, and they have come up with some solutions to things they said they would really not really be able to do in the past. So I'm ever hopeful. Like, okay, let me explain something. I had a conversation with our lead developer the other day, Carl. Get to chat with him occasionally about upcoming development, what's going on. He, gives me images, clips, tells me data and information about our development so I understand it and can explain it better to you all. From that, to a community, from the development standpoint to a community standpoint, I try and translate it. But he was explaining to me that he spent the last 2 months trying to get roofing just right because he knew if we launched with flat rooftops only, people would be disappointed. People would be happy with it, but there would be a lot of disappointment that it was just a flat top roof and not, an angled roof, right? So it does like a lot like Mousetrap, actually, huh? Oh man, that takes me back. Set it up for 25 minutes to play for like 25 seconds. Great game. Anyway, so he starts telling me that in order to make the roofing work, the roofing for our next update, he had to investigate into all these different types of like roofing algorithms, right? Well, not roofing algorithms, just like algorithms, and to find one that would work for our needs. One moment. And essentially, it's called straight skeleton is the algorithm, but only 3 other people apparently in the world, at least that you can find information on, know about it. And none of them use it for roofing. So Carl had to dive in and figure it out on his own. And we always joke about how Carl has a patron, some sort of development knowledge patron that gives him information. Oh my gosh, the movie Nothing But Trouble. I haven't thought about that movie in so long, Blue Mage. Holy cow, it is the same aesthetic for sure. Like just the creepy town, right? Ugh, that movie's so creepy. My mom got it for me one year because it was in a DVD bin for like $1. And I remember watching it a few times and just being always so creeped out by it as a young kid. He is the devlock. But look at these roofings. This is just alpha, beta stuff for roofing. It's looking so good already, right? Soon we'll be able to show videos and other things with the rooftops. And by the way, Blue Mage, we're going to look at your map in just a minute. I skipped over it temporarily so we could look at Highland Lass's map. But anyway, Highland Lass, you have a good one. Enjoy, torture your players, have fun. Thank you so much for being here. We have another map to show after this one, so we're gonna keep looking at this one and then show the other one. But the thing about those images I shared with you, he was explaining to me how much effort went into it because he wanted to make the roofs look natural and real and like make sense, right? And not just be flat and just call it a day. So the extra effort put into it was well worth it, I think. I think our community would wait 2 years if they had to for that. But ultimately, the 2 months it took, well worth it. And it looks fantastic. It's just in the kind of the wrap-up phase. Pact of the Code, Warlock. The color on this is so good. How you doing, Joseph? I'm gonna mention the devlock thing or Pact of the Code Warlock. He'll laugh for sure. Glad to have you, my friend. Stereo, 2 different streams. Yeah, you're all over the place. You're all over the map. All right, let's check out Blue Mage's map, and then we will wrap it up. The ninth circle of hell is a vast frozen lake, its surface cracked and layered with the frozen souls of the damned. Surrounded by jagged rock formations and massive icicles glowing with an eerie blue light, a colossal demonic gateway looms overhead, its infernal script pulsing with a cold, malevolent energy. At the lake's heart, Asmodeus stands in regal darkness, delighting in the suffering before him, especially the singular prisoner at its center. A skeletal figure, wreathed in a cerulean frost, encased in a chain sphere of cold, burning magic. 4 towering Grim Reapers, draped in tattered black robes, maintain the prison's spiraling barriers with ancient chants, their hollow eyes glowing with spectral fire. Ice mephits patrol the abyss, their jagged wings slicing through the frigid air, while patches of soul-searching blue fire flicker across the lake, burning not flesh, but the very essence of those who stray too close. Dang. The howling wind whispers the sins of the condemned. The darkened sky churns with an eternal maelstrom, and in the midst of it all, Asmodeus watches, reveling in his dominion of eternal torment. Very, very nice hook. Interesting hook. Oh, thank you. I do have I guess I've heard lately that I have a radio voice and face, so honored. I'm just joking. No, actually, a lot of people lately have been we kind of had this discussion a couple streams ago by accident. Someone mentioned that they just listen to the stream like a podcast. And a few of the services, you can kind of just set it to audio only to save bandwidth, or if you're driving so it's not a distraction. So you can just listen to the stream and, then tune in if you have time, or if something interesting comes up while you're working or reading or something, then you can turn on the video or whatever. Definitely don't do that while you're driving, but otherwise, if you're distracted with other stuff. This map is insane. Your cat was fascinated by the storytelling? Funny. Very cool. But I guess, people were saying, oh, they enjoy listening because I have, a good voice. It's easy to understand. I articulate myself well, and it's an inviting space, blah, 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 a lot of positive things. And I'd never really kind of considered that people listen and, I guess, absorb the stream in that way. I didn't realize there was a subsect of our community that just listens to the streams and maybe tunes in later when they can. You know what? Blue Mage, it won't, but I'll put one in there for you, okay? Here, let's put my mini in there so we can torture it. Shall we? I gotta disable collisions first. Oops. Let's make them big first, shall we? No! Forever tortured. But yeah, I do like impersonations, and I also can do all sorts of fun stuff with my own voice, like raise and lower it, and but in the past I tried to impersonate like different characters from TV shows and stuff, and I was okay at it, never like amazing, just good. Oh, cool. Yeah, the colors on Highland Lass's map were very pretty. I could see why the cat likes it. Got that cat brain rot going on. AJ, that's a great suggestion. Um, I will take that up to the devs, actually. Here, let me write that down. Interesting. That's a good suggestion. I just wrote it down. Thank you very much. I like that one. Pretty much all of my things I voice in my campaign sound the same. No, I'm just kidding. So AJ says I'm going to be running Honey Heist in 1 hour, and I thought it'd be fun to have beehive walls, like the ones we have for gingerbread, like a special house that are gingerbread, but instead honeycomb walls. And that's actually an interesting suggestion. I like it. It's okay. Me reading it out loud is helpful too for the whole community. Dang, Blue Mage, this is epic. Yeah, honestly, I really love that someone took the frozen hell approach because a lot of people went hot, right? We had one caustic hell from Hieronymo, who was the winner, and then we had a bunch of like traditional hells, lava scapes and stuff like that. I think this was the only ice hellscape, so kudos to you for that. I appreciate the original concept. So, like, sometimes I'll talk like this. And this is basically like Muscle Man from Regular Show. I don't know if you know that guy. But he basically just says this and goes, "My mom." Let's see. Who else is there? At one point, I don't know if I could do it anymore. I used to be pretty good at Majin Buu, but my throat, my voice box got wrecked a few years ago, and I just can't do it anymore. And this is me just not. I haven't done impressions in like forever, so they're probably really rusty here. So go bear with me. Uh, let's see. So Majin Buu is from Dragon Ball Z, if you're unfamiliar, and he is essentially kind of like a cosmic entity that was created to destroy planets and harvest their energy as candy for his evil, master. Um, and he's essentially like a big ball of cotton candy, if you will, what he looks like. But he has a really high pitched voice. So, hold on one second. Let me drink some water. We'll try it first. Boo talks like this. Boo likes candy. You better be nice to Boo. My dog didn't like that. I guess, you know, it's a big open area, but honestly, there's not nothing says despair by like a big open area with nowhere to go. You know what I mean? There's literally just hellscape in every direction. Sharp crystals and ice, dead bodies, viscera. So in its own way, the big open flatness of it really lends to the hellscape itself. Upsetting your dog. I upset myself, so I get it. Very little cover, nowhere to run. You know, you kind of got to make a stand here, it looks like. Just look at the bones. Yeah. See, that in itself is actually very powerful storytelling. You know, it's, you know, I think it's a great way to signify how desperate the situation is. Too funny, AJ. There's a few corpses on the workshop. I think you did a great job with what you had. I like the methods too. Did Michelle make these? Or did you make these, Mage? Cool. I know some of the corpse bodies and stuff aren't labeled the same. Asmodeus, are you here, bud? Paging Asmodeus. If you look on the workshop, some of the assets aren't fully named because he's trying to keep them family friendly. What did you name the corpse body parts that were like, was it just BP for body part? Yes. See, there's all this body part stuff, but it's mostly just labeled BP. Mainly because it, like, just, you know, the name alone makes it extra gruesome, too. But you could add a lot with this. We need that torso laying flat on the ground, one of these. That'd be cool. Anyway, it's very, very gross. There are animated portals. These ones here, these are like spells being cast, it looks like. But these are on the workshop. Color warp is what it's called. This particular dome, this is a stock asset. This is called Force Sphere. There are actually a few portals on Dungeon Alchemist that are stock. There's like this dimension door here. There is this moon gate. Druidic portal, this neat stone portal. I'm just throwing out a bunch of them. These ones with that icon, they were downloaded from the workshop, that little download cloud thing. This is an artificer, kind of an engineer portal. All of these are slightly different, but if you click this, a lot of the portals, you can adjust the portal's interface. So you have fire, kind of necrotic, ice, shadow, and a warp. So most portals can do this, as well as any door that is like a arch. So if you build a like even just like a 1x1 house, right, and put probably not a good one to use, but let's see, arches. It's huge, so it's too small. Darn it. Gotta make this house bigger. Make it 3 sides just in case. And then we could put something like arch here. Then I'm just gonna delete the doors. Oh no! Wrong one to delete. Or the walls, I mean. Just to kind of demonstrate this for now. Anyway, there's like a dimension door sitting there. I don't think it's useful at all to what we're doing. Totally different thing. But this arch also has access to all those portal options. So any arch door in the door menu you can turn these grass ones into portals. Like, all of them can be portals. It's kind of a hidden feature. Huh. Yeah, that is true. Effects don't tag to water very well, but I know a way to get around it. Blue Mage, would you like to know? Would anyone like to know? Would you like to know more? Invisible abstract for the win, my friends. So you go to the object menu, select the abstracts. You could select this square one. Oop, nope, it has ice on it. You're gonna have to do 2 steps because you have the snow biome on. Wait, what? Okay, so let's go into weather here because I don't think you need this snow on. We could turn off weather like this, right? And then just to demonstrate this, but you could get around it. I'll show you a way to even get around this. But with these abstracts, you can paint fire on them or any of the effects in the effect menu, right? So let's do some blue fire. Maybe. Normally you can. Wow. What is going on? Man, this map will not let you. Huh. That is incredibly weird. You might have found a bug. That is so odd. Let's figure this out. Yep, no, there's no way around it. Well, I thought I was smart and could find a solution, but it appears that your map is intriguing. Let's just say that much. I'm going to move it over here to where there's some land. We'll put it on that. Now we can grab the abstract, right? Move it. Bring the fire over here. And then if you just make this invisible with a blank PNG, you can move it all around the map as a solid piece. And you can even oversize it or make it smaller. Problem, though, is if you use snow weather, it puts a light dusting of snow on everything but these like ice flows. You can use that ice flow thing to your advantage, actually. So if this is on an ice flow, the snow stops being on it. So you could put a tiny ice flow on the ground. This is so silly that we have to do this, but it works. And then you move that on top of the ice flow. And then if you have snow weather on, it shouldn't be on that pad anymore. Yeah, see, you don't see it on the pad anymore. So the abstract needs to be... Oh, no, it went under it. Never mind. I don't know. Well, now that I turned the snow back on, you can't even see it, so it doesn't matter. I don't know what's going on. Either way, the abstract is the way to do it. You just have to put it up on your snow ledge here and then paint the effect on it and then bring it over a piece at a time. Yeah, just move the abstract right up. Actually, yeah, just hide it directly under the ice just a little bit. That way you don't ever see snow on it, too. That works, too. Why didn't I think of that? Anyway, there we go. So that's how you would kind of work around that problem to a degree. Yep, Chim, now you have fire. I do like these little things as spells. They look really cool. Kind of looks like a chromatic orb being formed or something. Because you have all the color options tied to it. Excuse me. Just looked at the time. We got to wrap it up, everyone. Small little plea to the community. If you are enjoying today's stream and you want to catch more of them in the future, will you please do me a favor and hit that follow button, that subscribe button, like, share, whatever it is for your platform, especially if you haven't already. That way you can find us in the future and don't miss out on future streams. If this is, you've been here before, make sure you share the stream. Make sure you talk about the stream after on our Discord. Let us know if you enjoyed the stream in Discord. Tag me or, talk about it. Let us know because we like to get feedback on it where we can, if we can. Additionally, I would like to point out that there are a few streams coming up. The next stream is Monday, which is Mapmaker Monday. I'll be focusing on the ancient cemetery. I'm kind of almost done with the work on the caretaker's cottage. Got a little bit of work left to do there. I need to fill out the greenhouse and fill out the shed and put a little bit more like farm stuff, but overall I think it's good. And then we'll move on to more graves and kind of wrapping up some finishing touches over the next few streams. So if you want to watch a map be built in real time, Mapmaker Mondays where it's at. I build this ancient cemetery live for you to watch, share ideas and suggestions, and learn. Also, the stream's hosted in an AMA format, which means ask me anything. So if you have questions about Dungeon Alchemist, ask away, and I will do my best to provide real-time support during the stream. The following stream after that is next Wednesday. That is office hours. That is hosted exclusively to our Discord. So unlike today's stream or Mapmaker Monday, which are multi-streams on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Steam, the office hour stream is Discord exclusive. So if you're not a member of our Discord, definitely follow the links, hop into our Discord. That way you can, not miss out on it. We also have an events section in our Discord, which covers all these streams in detail. The links for all the stream locations, the days they're hosted. If you click interested, you get a reminder notification in your Discord app or on your computer when we go live. Great way to kind of stay in touch with the streams. Especially if you're new to Dungeon Alchemist or just getting back in the swing of it, the streams are a great way to learn a lot really quick. Think of it like a class, like you're in school and you can ask me, the teacher, questions and I can guide you through problems you might be having in your own maps. I think that's much more valuable than a generic tutorial video. While tutorial videos have their place, something that's much more specific to your needs is usually better, right? Anyway, I have D&D tomorrow. I'm super hyped, so I'm going to be kind of out of office. I won't be responding much to stuff. Sunday's usually my day off, like where I disconnect. So we'll see you all Monday with office hours. Let's see here. I'm going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to wrap up. Before we do, one more quick bit of info. We picked the next theme for the next Damn Challenge. That theme is Paradise. Okay, so you have between now and the 21st of March, end of day in your time zone, 11:59 p.m. or 23:59 p.m., whatever it is for you, in your time zone, to submit a map of any shape or size using Paradise as inspiration. Okay? I will update more information in our Damn Challenge channel between now and Monday afternoon, highlighting the winner, their map, letting you know who won and the information about the map as well as the upcoming challenge and the due date for it, okay? So take the weekend off, think about what you want to do for your next map. Try not to submit a map before I have at least updated the Damn Challenge channel with the new theme, okay? Anyway, yeah, Paradise, whatever you want it to be. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We're going to run a short Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and we're going to wrap it up. Blue Mage, if you're still here, thank you so much for this map. I think it was dope. You did a great job. And I hope you can add the flames you were wanting to with this new trick or use it in the future. Okay, Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and we're going to wrap up. Bye!
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before—
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him!
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever, find family, kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this?
Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the fabled realm of
Goyak-Ta, please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Appreciate you so very, very much. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye.